Hi everybody, I hope you're doing marvelously well. In today's episode, we're going to be trying out the brand new iD24 by Audient.
I'm still a fan even though I was salty. Hate to see you with some other, but I know you're happy. Hate to see you happy if I'm not the one driving. I'm so mature, got me a therapist to tell me there's other men I don't want, and I just want you. If I can't have you, no one should. I might kill my ex. Not the best idea. His new girlfriend's next out. I get here. I might kill my ex. I still love him though. Rather be in jail than alone. I get the sense that it's a lost cause. I get the sense that you might really love her. The text gon' be evidence, this text is evidence. I tried to ration with you, no murders, no crimes of passion. But damn, you was out of reach. You was at the farmer's market with your perfect peach. Now I'm in amazement, playing on my patience. Now you're laying face down, got me singing over a beat. I'm so mature, got me a therapist to tell me there's other men I don't want, and I just want you. If I can't have you, no one will. I might kill my ex. Not the best idea. His new girlfriend's next. How'd I get here? I might kill my ex. I still love him though. Rather be in jail than alone. I did it all for love. Did it all on no drugs. I did all of this sober. I did it all for us. I did it all for love. I did all of this on no drugs. I did all of this sober. Don't you know I did it all for us? I just killed my ex. Not the best idea. Killed his girlfriend next. How'd I get here? I just killed my ex. I still love him though. Rather be in hell than alone.
So I hope you enjoyed that. That was a wonderful Kijafa on vocals. That was Bianca Richardson on drums. Our good friend, of course, Mr. Clark Sims on bass. And the wonderful Mr. Michael Humphries, who put it all together on guitar. And here it is, the iD24. This is ridiculously feature-packed. There's been a big demand. Lots of you, not just on our videos, but on other people's videos reviewing Audient products, always say that they love the compact size of it, they love the sound of the mic pre's, etc., but just wish it had more feature set. Well, this has an optical in and out, so that means this little unit, for instance, could run the new 8-channel interface that runs on optical, so the Evo SP8. So it's got 2 stereo outputs. This is a really big deal. An insert sender return, which for a little unit like this, an inexpensive unit, is huge. So you can run hardware into it. So for guys and girls like me, you're going to absolutely love that because you can utilize some of your lovely 500 series gear or whatever you might have. That is huge. And of course, there's combo jacks on the back for XLR and 1/4 inch, and another set of sender returns. So 2 sets of sender returns. That is huge. That is huge for the hardware lovers among you, especially for a unit that's this small. It's really fantastic. Oh, and of course, there is also a word clock out as well. So pretty sophisticated. On the front, we have 48 volts for running phantom, of course, your condenser microphones, a pad, a 10 dB pad, and of course, a high-pass filter. Now, all of the iD range have, this ability to do multiple function keys and then also program different things that you can do with it. Now, luckily, we have really smart people coming up on this video, Ed Thorne being one of them, who's going to get into some of these extra features, so stick around for that. It's a great, simple, easy-to-use unit that also happens to sound fantastic. Just a quick shout out to Austrian Audio for the OC7, which is their inexpensive condenser, which is pretty awesome. Completely maneuverable. We use this on the drums, we use this on guitars, we use this on bass, we use this on vocals, it's all over the place. And of course the OD5, which is the dynamic mic version. These are pretty nifty microphones, so thank you, Austrian Audio, for giving those to us to try. All right, let's give this a listen. I'm really, really happy with this. We did zero, that is nada, nicked, no editing whatsoever on this track. So it's pretty darn loose in all the right ways. So here's Bianca's live drums. So initially we recorded kick and snare. Pretty awesome. And then we threw in a ride and hi-hat track. So she overdubbed these. We had the dynamic microphone on the kick. We had the condenser on the overhead, and then we used the dynamic on the ride and the condenser on the hi-hat. And just for snitch and schniggles, I threw in a kick sample and a snare sample, which closely matches the original samples that we used on SZA's track. If you've ever followed B Rich Drums, which is, of course, Bianca Richardson's Instagram channel, you'll notice she's pretty well known for playing an electronic pad as well, a synth pad. So we add that in and we get this. I kept it pretty loose. I let it flam, you know? Kind of like the groove. Then, of course, the great Clark Sims. Wonderful bass player. Michael on guitars. And that's his new Dan Electro, which is wonderful. A great guitar player. He's still only like 23. Phenomenal player. And last but no means least, Kijafa on vocals.
I might kill my ex, not the best idea.
And of course, you can download all these multi-tracks and hear for yourself. We're really, really happy with this. We thought we would do it with the same pair of microphones. We're really pushing it. We're not throwing in U47s and all that kind of fun stuff. It's all about inexpensive equipment all around. Really, really plays. But I feel like the ID24 is going to resonate with guys like me, because the fact it's got two sets of sender returns means that we can loop in, you know, EQs, compressors, you name it. And that makes it so much more flexible. In fact, I'd probably use this and have it all wired into a patch bay so I can have different outputs and I can have, you know, access to sender returns. It's pretty powerful tool for recording and for mixing. So let's hear from Eduardo Thorne. That would be Ed Thorne.
Hi, I'm Ed Thorne, here to help you make the most out of your home studios. In this segment, I'm going to discuss some key technical specifications on the ID24 and explain the impressive upgrades against its spiritual predecessor, the ID22, and how these improvements affect our audio and workflows. Before I get into this though, I measured the round-trip latencies of the ID24 at various sample rates and buffer sizes for comparison against other popular audio interfaces. As you can see, it performs well, making it good for recording with amp sims and monitoring vocals with processing with minimal delay. The chart on screen now is displaying the key improvements this model has to offer. The round-trip latency chart and this device comparison chart are available to download for free in the free members area of my personal website, edthorne.com. Firstly, the new ID24 is now fully bus-powered by USB-C. No mains power is needed, and we have the benefits of much faster data transfer with USB 3.0. The keen-eyed amongst you will have noticed a dramatic increase in the dynamic range of the outputs on this ID24. This has been facilitated by an upgrade to the converter chips. Now, it's elementary to throw around the concept of converters without really understanding what that means, and more importantly, how it affects our audio. The point of an audio interface is, of course, to convert the acoustic audio signals the device receives from microphones and guitars into a digital signal that our computers can understand and process. This is the audio to digital conversion stage, often abbreviated to ADC. Besides the quality of the audio sampling, the dynamic range of the converters is very important. The dynamic range is the difference between the loudest possible undistorted signal captured compared to what is called the noise floor of the device. The noise floor is the sum of all the background noises occurring in the device. For example, electronic interference or power conditioning within the device and preamp noise. Electromagnetic interference, radio frequency interference, noise from dodgy cables, and microphone noise can also contribute towards the noise floor, but in this case, the measurement purely relates to the internal device noises. Now, we want this gap between the highest signal level and the lowest noise levels to be as wide as possible. On the new ID24, the audio to digital conversion dynamic range has been improved by 5 decibels to 122 decibels, which is very competitive at this price point. You'll have also probably heard the acronym DAC or DAC thrown around. This is short for digital to audio conversion, and this is the opposite process where the audio interface converts digital audio from our computer back into an analog signal to be sent out to our headphones and monitor speakers. The dynamic range here is arguably even more important, and Audient have just increased this by a whopping 12.5 decibels to 126.5 decibels. Now, this is competitive with the best interfaces available. These wider dynamic ranges mean we can use higher input and output levels before digital clipping will occur, giving us more headroom to play with in our workflow. It also results in higher quality, clearer and sharper headphone and monitor speaker audio, improving our all-round user experience. Referring back to my comparison chart, and you'll notice the ID24 has 2 decibels less mic gain available than the ID22. However, much more line input and DI input gains. I suspect the lower mic gain range is to help facilitate the improved signal-to-noise floor ratio. And in my opinion, 2 decibels is a fair price to pay for such improvements elsewhere. And it's also worth noting that 10 decibels of additional digital gain is still available in the ID mixer application as it is across all Audient ID series interfaces. Now, another aspect to consider about this interface and all Audient audio interfaces is the harmonic content imposed onto our audio by the preamps. Some interfaces have harmonics-inducing circuits built in for character and colour, but that's not always desired. On screen now you can see a measurement of the ID24 preamps showing very low harmonic content using a sine wave at 1 kHz. At approximately minus 140 decibels, this is inaudible and won't affect our recordings. These are very clean preamps. For those of you wondering about the frequency response of the Audient preamps, on screen now you can see an EQ linearity chart analysed in Plugin Doctor showing the frequency response of the preamps. And as you can see, they are remarkably flat. Now, yes, there's a tail off below 10 Hz, but realistically, we're going to filter all that out anyway. And there's a little bit of a dip of, say, a decibel and a half between 10 and 20 kilohertz. But this will help with sibilance issues. In general, these are incredibly flat, neutral sounding preamps. Okay, I hope that helps you understand how and why Audient interfaces kick ass. The send and returns on this device particularly excites me, and I'll be doing a feature on that soon on my channel. And as always, the ability to independently adjust my input, DAW and loopback audio levels in the ID Mixer application sets this interface above others in its class. Thank you, Produce Like a Pro, for having me on the channel for this segment of the video. I've been Ed Thorne. It's been emotional. Back over to Warren.
So now Michael's actually going to break down the song for us a little bit here.
What's going on, guys? It is Futureself. My real name is Michael Humphries, but artist name Futureself. Just going to go over some of the gear that I'm playing today. Starting off with the pick, the smallest thing. This is actually a gravity pick given to me by Daniel Donato, another incredible guitar player. Love this pick. I never lose it at a gig. Translucent. But the guitar I'm playing is a beautiful D'Angelico. It's their new DC Tour Series 335 type model, and I'm absolutely in love. On that is a custom strap made for myself with one of my favorite Bible verses. But overall, my favorite guitar I've ever played or owned to date, so I'm extremely happy with how D'Angelico made these guitars this year, and I'm very proud. For my rig, disregard how disjumbled it looks, but starting off, I have, and it's not plugged in anymore, but I have the volume pedal, Boss volume pedal. I like and prefer these volume pedals sometimes more so, just because they don't have a strain, I believe. I've had a lot of volume pedals that have strains, and sometimes they've broken. This has just been excellent because it has never broken on me. It's just extremely compact. It's just very solid, and it just feels great. I have that being routed from the side, not right now at the moment, but being routed from the side into the Polytune. So my Polytune actually isn't normally routed back into this. So from here, it comes to this Prism, extremely versatile boost pedal. I looked for a boost pedal for many years, absolutely incredible. It has about 3 stages of drive and 3 stages of color, with basically high end and a low end knob as tone and body, and then a volume that changes colors also, which is very fun. I have that going into the warped vinyl, which is made by Chase Bliss, which is absolutely incredible. I cannot recommend this pedal enough. It's a chorus and a vibrato, and it sounds like it looks. You know, it's an analog chorus vibrato pedal. Shout out Chase Bliss, some of the nicest people on the planet too. Incredible team. Love their pedals. That is going into, we're not using this pedal at the moment because the song did not call for any drive, but this is a first and second stage distortion. This is JHS, double barrel. This is a Morning Glory and then a TS-808, I believe, which is a tube screamer type circuitry. And that normally goes a little bit after the boost. If I have another distortion, it might go third, but that would generally go before the warped vinyl, but we did not use that today. This warped vinyl is going into the Hall of Fame Reverb 1, not the 2, by TC Electronics. Incredible reverb. And that is going into this spring reverb by, it's called the Flint. It's by Strymon. Also another incredible pedal company. That spring reverb, in fact, actually never gets turned off on my rig. There's very few pedals that never get turned off. That is one of the pedals that never gets turned off. It's, if you look right now too, it's set on 60s spring reverb, and the settings are all fairly moderate. There's not a ton of color. You know, it can get pretty bright. There's not a ton of decay, and there's not a ton of mix. You know, it's extremely moderate in terms of the settings. So it just never comes off. It's more of a textural thing that is on all my guitar playing, but that is a pretty minimalistic rig. Normally I have about 10 pedals, but don't really need that for R&B. Actually, you don't even necessarily need any pedals for R&B. You can just have a DI guitar into a deluxe reverb or even into your DAW and have some reverb stock there. So you don't need a ton of pedals, but these pedals I have found are essential to my guitar tone. So that's why they are here today, because I only like to bring the essentials for the essential guitar recording that I'm doing. But thank you guys so much, and hopefully I didn't miss anything. Clothes are all thrifted. Have a great, I'm not going to go over my clothes, but have a great day, guys. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to talk through really briefly on how Kill Bill, one of the most popular songs in the world right now, is actually using some of the oldest and most popular harmony in Western music ever. So the whole entire song is actually based out of what is called a 2-5-1 in the key of A flat major. So the beginning, 2 to 5, which is E flat dominant 7, to A flat major, to 6 in the traditional sense of 6, which is dominant 7 flat 9, back to 2. And the entire song are just those 4 chords: B flat minor 7 to E dominant 7 to A flat major 7 to F dominant 7 flat 9. And it's really incredible to see how a song so popular today in 2023 is still utilizing the most common progression known to Western culture. And I think this is extremely telling of what is good today in music, harmonically, will be good in 30 years, in 100 years, because harmony is an everlasting principle of physics, truly, in the known natural universe. You know, people talk about how the universe, if you take a tuner and you measure what tune and what tonality space is, that you can get a certain tune, a tone, and that you can get a certain pitch. But the universe is based off of frequencies and based off of these harmonic principles that are not going away anytime soon, based off of what I know. So you don't, when you're writing songs, you don't need to break the book. You don't need to create something new. You don't need to go. You don't need to do something new. A 2-5-1, even today in 2023, which is primarily a jazz progression, quote unquote, will still work. So it's incredible to see and to dissect a song that is so simplistic in its nature and so common and so derivative, but in a new way, in a new light. No pun for you John Mayer fans. But basically, the song is extremely simple, 2-5-1 to 6 dominant flat 9, which is the correct harmony. And just so that you guys know, the reason why it is dominant 7 flat 9 is because if you look at the scale, right, if you have the full progression, which the full progression is actually 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, is the full quote unquote progression that is commonly found when there's a 6, 2, 5, 1. The 3 is minor 7 flat 5. The 6 is dominant 7 flat 9. The 2 is minor 7. The 5 is generally dominant 7 add 9, and then major 7 or major 7 add 13. Those are the harmonic tendencies that are associated with a 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. So now you know. So that was SZA's Kill Bill. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something new. And if you did, comment down below and let me know what you'd like me to touch base on next. Bye.
So thanks ever so much, Audient, for giving us one of these to try out. It's very, very exciting. And of course, as ever, we're going to do a giveaway. So you can enter to win one of these lovely ID24s. Pretty feature-packed and small and compact and, of course, really great sounding. Well, why don't you download the multitracks and listen for yourself? No EQ, no compression, just pull up the multitracks and hear for yourself. Of course, while using inexpensive microphones. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you again soon. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, adios, tschüssins, ciao, tschüss, goodbye.